Hello, my name is Angelo Raya. I'm 18 years old, and being 18 in this town, especially when it comes to housing, seems a little worrying. Not only because jobs aren't offering, jobs aren't so, even if you go to college or get a job in a diploma or degree, in your field, there's recently, statistics show that you're not most likely going to get a job with that in the first 2 years of searching for a job. It actually went down around 40% from 40 years ago. So I think that the housing ordinance or the renting ordinance, that which would cap the upgrade of the percentage of the rent to 2%, is a great idea for people that are young and are trying to find housing, because not everybody that wants to, everybody has to start somewhere. No one can just buy a house. So I think it's very important for people to, realize that renting is something that a lot of people do, and my family has been doing it for 23 years. And luckily, my renter and I have had my landlord has had a great relationship with us, literally living right next to us. So I feel that they are able to understand that. And I feel like if that were the case in some situations where there is a landlord and a renter, they would be able to see each other eye to eye more. And I think that it's a valuable ordinance to understand and truly feel out, especially for young people when it's uncertain for housing in the future. I don't know whether I'm going to be able to live in Salinas because of how much the landscape for buying a house has changed. A lot of people that I know, a lot of my teachers, a lot of people with even degrees and diplomas had to have roommates. Although that is the landscape now, and that is the truth, especially for California, I think that it's really important to look at renting as probably the new option for people that are up and coming. And I mean, that's how renting has been, but I just think it's really important to keep it at a 2% for young people like me to be able to live. Thank you.
Muy buenas tardes, es un gusto estar aquí con ustedes. Me alegra mucho que me hayan invitado a este lugar. Mi nombre es Susana. Estoy en este lugar para hacerles saber, somos una familia de 5 personas. Estamos atravesando por unos momentos muy difíciles a causa de que hemos sido desalojados, y a partir del día de domingo estaremos prácticamente sin hogar a causa de que con nuestro sueldo no nos alcanza para una renta. El motivo es que ahora un departamento de 2 recámaras es un promedio de $2,700 a $3,000 una renta más el depósito. Con el sueldo que tenemos es un poco difícil. Si está buscando una casa, es un promedio de $4,700 más $5,000 de depósito. Hemos pagado aplicaciones y hasta el momento solo nos han dicho que no calificamos. Hemos estado pagando por cada una de las aplicaciones y solo nos dicen, lo sentimos, no fueron elegibles. Queremos pedir su ayuda para toda nuestra gente. Somos muchas personas en este lugar que estamos batallando. No soy yo la única persona. Yo tengo un hijo con autismo y por el momento pues estamos sin hogar. ¿Por qué motivo? Tenemos un trabajo, trabajamos honradamente, tenemos un sueldo, pero no nos completamos. Y luego estamos pagando las aplicaciones solamente para que nos digan, lo sentimos, no calificamos. Queremos pedirles atentamente a toda nuestra gente, tenemos necesidad de hogares. No estamos haciendo nada malo, estamos trabajando honradamente. Llevamos un trabajo cada uno, recibiendo el sueldo que está basado aquí en California, pero para una renta de tal magnitud, honestamente es imposible pagar. Quisiéramos pedir de alguna manera una protección para nosotros que estamos atravesando por esta situación. No podemos comprar casa porque con un salario con el que recibimos es imposible, honestamente, para todos nosotros. Pedimos muy atentamente de su ayuda. Toda nuestra gente tiene necesidad de diferentes maneras. Muchas gracias.
Good afternoon. My name is Susana, and it's a pleasure for me to be here. Thank you for inviting me. I'm here because my family is a family of 5, and this Sunday we were evicted, so basically we don't have a home. Rents are really, really high, so we really can't afford it. We're talking about paying $2,000 to $2,700 for a 2-room apartment, up to $3,000. So it's really impossible for us to be able to afford that. If we're talking about renting a home, it's from $4,000 to $4,700, a month. And on top of that, we have to give a $5,000 deposit. So really, this is impossible. We work hard. We are honest workers. and we do what we have to do. We really ask you to help us, because even though we have our salary, we both work, it is not possible to have a home. We have a son, he has autism, and basically, we don't have a place to live. And we're not the only ones. There's a lot of people that are going through that problem. We are paying application fees, and all we get is, we're sorry, we're not eligible. So we're asking for help. We really need a home to live. With the salary that we make here in California, it is impossible to buy a home, so we have to rent. But right now, the rents are impossible with the salary that we have. We're honest workers. We do what we have to do. We're not the only ones in this situation. There's many of us that are suffering, so we really ask for your help. Thank you.
If you wouldn't mind leaving your contact information with the city clerk, we'll have somebody from community development. Hang on. No. Thank you. I appreciate the applause, but we are trying to run a meeting, and I do want everyone to feel empowered to speak. I just want to acknowledge, if she'll leave her information with community development, we do have some programs for rapid rehousing, hotel vouchers, things like that. So we'll have somebody reach out.
Entonces sí le pido que por favor deje su información para que el Departamento de Desarrollo Comunitario se comunique con usted. Estamos queriendo nosotros apoyarla, así que por favor, pues comuníquese con ellos y vamos a ver cómo le podemos apoyar.
Thank you.
Muy buenas tardes. Es un orgullo y privilegio estar con cada uno de ustedes y felicitar al Señor Jesús Valenzuela, y que Dios lo bendiga y le dé sabiduría para su puesto que le otorgaron. Estamos en una situación, ella es mi esposa, la que acaba de pasar. Yo trabajo de security en una compañía y gano $700 a $1,000 por quincena. El costo de la vivienda donde nosotros nos encontrábamos es de $1,914, que trabajando todo un mes yo gano $1,400 a $1,800. No es justo para pagar una renta tan elevada, y son de bajos ingresos de chispa. Entonces, yo no quiero que otras personas batallen o sufran lo que esta persona y mi compañera y mis hijos estamos sufriendo. ¿Por qué? Porque es injusto una elevación tan alta de una renta de más del salario de la persona, que son $1,800 la que gana, y la renta es de casi $2,000. Entonces no es posible cómo pagar una renta pagando biles, agua, luz, renta, aseguranza y alguna necesidad que tenga el hijo o la hija. Entonces esa es la situación que pasa a Salinas, y que no sabemos las otras personas que más pasen. Entonces quisiera pedirle al Congreso que apoyaran a Salinas, a las personas de bajos ingresos. Yo no soy nadie para decirles, pero Dios los ayude a saber trabajar en ese aspecto de Salinas. Es un orgullo haber estado con ustedes. Muchas gracias.
Good afternoon. For me, it's a pleasure and a privilege to be here before you. First of all, I want to congratulate the new council member, Jesus Valencia. May God bless you and give you wisdom to be able to work well in your new position. I am here supporting my wife. My wife was the one that gave the comment before me. I work in a security company. I make from $700 to $1,000 every 15 days. So any given month, I make from $1,800 to $1,914. And our rent used to be $1,800, and we used to live in a low-income home from Chispa. And I'm here to tell my story because I don't want other people to suffer what my wife, my children, and I are suffering. The increase of rent is really unfair. If we have a salary that's $1,800, how can we pay a $2,000 rent? And how are we going to pay our bills, our electricity, our water, insurance, and any other need that our children might have? So I'm not the only one in Salinas that is going through this. And I come here because I don't want other people to suffer what I am suffering. There's a lot of people here that are low income and are suffering what we are suffering. And I am nobody to tell you what to do things, but I do ask God to please help you and give you the knowledge to know what to do, to how to resolve this and make this work.
You're unmuted.
Hello, this is Eloise Shimkin. I'm a Salinas District 3 resident, and I've been living in my unit that is project-based voucher, going on 2 years now. And I waited 10 years to get my unit, and the project-based voucher doesn't follow you if you leave or are booted out inadvertently. So you have to go back on the list, unlike the choice-based vouchers, which can follow you to your next place. And I just wanted to point this out in case anyone has such a voucher and are coerced to move. It can be daunting to stay in your housing. You have to be active participant and not a sheep following the lead of property managers and housing professionals, because you can end up out of housing and on a waiting list, which can lead to homelessness. So I'm just saying this to anybody who has those vouchers. Be forewarned. Don't be docile or sit back and think that everything's gonna just work out. You have to be very active. Thank you for letting me share.
Mi nombre es Nidia Soto. Estoy aquí para dar la bienvenida a Jesús Valenzuela, el concejal del Distrito 3. Felicidades, y también quiero felicitar a todo el concilio que han hecho un gran trabajo en unión, todos juntos, colaborando por la comunidad y representar la comunidad lo mejor posible. Les doy gracias, les agradezco por esto, y también quiero hablar sobre la renta, la estabilización de alquiler. ¿Por qué los propietarios ahora se preocupan tanto porque exista una nueva ley? ¿Por qué los propietarios se preocupan tanto de que van a ser juzgados por propietarios que están incumpliendo la ley? Esta ley no impactará a los propietarios que están actualmente cumpliendo la ley. No tienen por qué estar preocupados de esto. Cuando estaban abusando de los altos aumentos de alquiler, ningún propietario vino a decir que estaban abusando a algunos otros propietarios de inquilinos. Nunca se preocuparon por eso. El apoyar el 2% le dará la esperanza al pueblo de en un futuro tener una vivienda, porque los aumentos de salario son 50 centavos. Los aumentos de alquiler son 500, 1,000, 1,500, abusados continuamente, ¿verdad? Entonces, por eso yo le pido al concilio que considere realmente esta ordenanza el 25 de junio y que considere un 2%, y le pido a los compañeros que están aquí, por favor levanten su sign diciendo y respetando la agenda para apoyar un 2% y pedirles a ustedes que consideren esto. Una vez hicimos este ejercicio para que ustedes escuchen a cada uno de nosotros que estamos aquí y nosotros respetar a ustedes sabiendo que tienen una agenda muy extensa este día. Gracias.
My name is Nidia Soto, and first of all, I want to welcome the new council member, Jesus Valenzuela from District 3. I also want to congratulate the council members for the great work you're doing. You're all working together. You're all working united in collaboration to help the community the best way possible. And thank you so much for the ordinance and rent stabilization. This is very important, and I'm here because the landlords don't have to worry. If they are complying with the law, they don't have to worry about this new law that is going to come in effect. Because if they're following the law, they should not worry. I never heard before a landlord come here and say that other landlords were abusing the law. So if everybody complies with the law, they shouldn't worry that there's a new law coming. And also, I ask just please support the 2%. This gives hope to the community that they might have a home in the future. If we see the salaries, their increment is 50 cents. And when they increment the rent, it is $500 to $1,500. That is not feasible. So I'm really asking you to please consider approving the ordinance in June 25th, and please approve the 2% rent increase. I ask everybody here that is present to please raise the sign. I know that it is very important for you to hear our voice and consider what we have to say. And I know that this agenda is very packed, so we have to respect your time. So we ask each one of you to please raise your sign so you can see that we all approve the 2%.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es María Chávez y vivo en el Distrito 4. Gracias, concejal Jesús Valenzuela, por aceptar el cargo. Les pido, por favor, que voten por la ordenanza de estabilización de renta, que sea un 2%, ya que estamos sufriendo por los altos incrementos de renta. Por favor, ayúdenos a quitar también la prostitución y tráfico de carros y prostitución obligada a menores en estas calles, Roosevelt, Madeira, King, Kerr. Nuestros hijos están sufriendo viendo todo esto. Estas calles necesitan más alumbrado y vigilancia, ya que en las noches están oscuras y por eso pasan muchas cosas y nos dormimos con mucho miedo. Muchas gracias por el apoyo.
Good afternoon. I'm Maria Chavez, and I'm from District 4. Thank you, Mr. Jesus Valenzuela, for accepting your nomination. So I'm asking here for you to please vote for the ordinance and the rent stabilization ordinance. The increase is only 2%. We're suffering with high rents. And I'm also asking you to please help us with the prostitution and the traffic that exists in the city, especially in Roosevelt, Madeira, King, and Kerr. Our children are suffering. There's not enough street light there. We needed more vigilance there. At night, it gets very dark, and we're afraid, and we sleep at night in fear. So thank you so much for your support.
Good afternoon, City Council, Madam Mayor. Welcome. District 3 Representative Jesus Valenzuela. We're excited, I think, as a whole community, as a whole city of Salinas, that we have 5 months to see how this goes, and then getting to the elections of November 5th this year. There's going to be more opportunities for the community at large to step up. So this is a whole demonstration of just how strong we can be, and just to, again, congratulate you, Mr. Valenzuela, Councilmember Valenzuela, and also to echo the gentleman's comments around the negative narrative, apparently uplifted by KSBW. It counters the experience that a lot of us have had here in City Council. At least the 4 years that I've been able to engage in these 4 years, where we have seen some impacts, and I look at the crime rates, and that to me just shows a lot in terms of how this City Council is operating. And in terms of the future, Amazon is going to make its way, is working its way into our community. And this appears to be a big opportunity for a lot of our residents, our neighbors, to step up, voice these concerns about what it's going to take for Amazon to be a healthy player, to honor the possibility of organizing the workers, and honor what we like to think and say call for community-based agreements. Because one of those agreements should be a support for housing, and that 2% rent increase. If everybody can get up and demonstrate your signs, please. Thank you.
Members of the City Council, good afternoon. My name is Olga Reina. I am here to support the City Council. Thank you so much for doing the great job that you are doing. I've heard some comments on the news, and people ask me what's going on with the City Council. They're saying they're dysfunctional. I don't know what they're talking about. I'm so glad that you guys are here for all of us. The people here are supporting you because of the things that you have to go through. We have a Zoom meeting now. We have more participation. We have translations for the people. People are participating, and you are functional. And, well, welcome to the City Council, Mr. Valenzuela. And thank you so much for listening to our people. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Amy Salmina from Coast and Valley Properties, and I'm a lifelong resident here of Salinas. Just wanting to speak on a few things, rent stabilization and the draft ordinance that I know that is in continuance at this time and under discussion. So looking forward to having more of those meetings and hoping that we can work on something that's going to work for both sides, both property owners as well as our residents. But something to think about, or as I'm listening to other people make public comment, is, you know, honestly, who can afford to live here? When you have somebody who states that they make $700 every 15 days, that's less than minimum wage or a part-time job at minimum wage. And again, I'm not sure who can afford to live here on minimum wage. I don't think whether it's 1984 or it is 2024, rents were never intended for someone to pay on a minimum wage salary. So again, we have to really think about who can actually afford to live in Monterey County, in the state of California, and no one on minimum wage is ever going to afford that. So those conversations need to be had, more education needs to be had, and having this development of having Amazon, the warehouse come here, not sure where we're going to find housing for that. Again, another issue in regards to finances and amounts that people are going to pay in rent and how much they're going to make. So what needs to strongly be addressed is what people are making in order to live here. Thank you so much.